What's up, guys? Today I kind of just wanted to do some pre-NFL season predictions based on where I think all these teams are going to finish. And my categories are the Super Bowl, who I think will be in the Super Bowl. I'll probably do like four teams that I think could potentially be in the Super Bowl. And then I'll do like contenders, like maybe like another four teams that I think could potentially be in it. Then I'll do some teams that I think are good, some teams that I think are like a little bit better than like average, and then some teams that I think are pretty mediocre. Some teams that are maybe a little bit below that. Some teams that are like not good, that they're bad, and then my like worst teams. I have no idea where I'm putting anything yet. I've got a couple ideas, but so some of these might not even end up being used. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And this is my completely biased list. You'll probably see that I have a couple teams that I like versus teams that I don't like. Packers will be maybe a little bit disrespected, depending on your opinion of the Packers. But so I guess we'll start up with the Saints, and they are going in worst. I think anybody who knows anything about football knows that the Saints are in contention by most people to be the worst team in the NFL and to get the number one overall pick, who I think will end up being Garrett Nussmeier, which I think would be pretty cool to see him go from LSU to the New Orleans Saints. And I think his dad is maybe the GM there, or he is someone in the organization of the Saints. So I think that could be a cool little thing that might happen. So I think they're going to be the worst team in the NFL. I think there might be some other teams that are in contention for that, but I think they are, in my opinion, the worst team in the NFL going into this season. And I'm going to also kind of skip around because like the Dolphins, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put them yet. They're kind of like, I think they're probably going to be like in here-ish somewhere, but I kind of want to go with someone else right now, and that is going to be, I'm going to do the Super Bowl because I think I know what teams I'm going to put up there. And that's going to be Eagles are first, obviously. They're the reigning champs. Their roster got a little bit worse, but I mean, their roster was the best in the NFL last year, and it wasn't particularly close. And their defense got a little bit worse. Their offense is basically the same. Still just absolutely phenomenal. So I think they're pretty easily going to definitely make the playoffs, probably be first in their division unless Jaden Daniels gets a lot better than he was last year, which is saying a lot because he was phenomenal last year. But I think they are pretty safely going to be up there. And then my next pick is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, just because they are also up there with the Eagles in having an insanely good roster. I mean, I guess their biggest weakness is wide receiver, which if that's your biggest weakness, you're in a pretty damn good spot. So I think they are going to be very, very good. Defense only got better. Pretty much everything only got better for them, and their team was really good last year. This is kind of like Lamar's year, this is his shot, basically. So those are my two picks for that so far. And then, surprisingly, I'm not going to have the Chiefs up there just because I think their roster really I think it got better than last year. But I think I just like the Bills roster a little bit more. And I'm going to put the Bills up there. Again, defense got better. Keon Coleman got older. I'm all in on Keon Coleman like breaking out and being a good wide receiver one. Maybe not like a top 10 receiver in the NFL, but I think he will be a very solid, reliable weapon for Josh Allen to use. I think Dalton Kincaid will kind of have a bounce back year. I think he was like last among tight ends in like catchable target share or something like that. Some kind of obscure stat that a lot of people thought he like almost fell off, but he just kind of got screwed. So I think overall this team just got better. So those are my picks for that. And then I'm trying to think of who else I would put from the NFC. I've got one pick, but I don't want to be too terribly biased towards them. And I'll end up putting them in the tier below. But I might actually put them all the way up there just because I truly believe that they could make it, but I don't really want to. Rams are one that I would put up there, but I'm not sure how Stafford is doing. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to put the Rams right up there just because of the fact that I think Stafford is healthy now. I feel like I heard that, and that's who I would have put normally because just a young, amazing defense. Great. Probably the best coach in the NFL, or maybe not the best, but a top 3 coach in the NFL with Sean McVay, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, great O-line, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford. I mean, I'm also sleeper pick for fantasy if anybody is doing like a really deep league or like tight end premium or something. Terrence Ferguson, their rookie, the most athletic rookie that ran the combine last year. Sean McVay's first pick in this draft, a very good tight end draft. Oregon's like all-time leader for like all the tight end stats or whatever. You'd have to look into that. I forget exactly what it was, but he's a special player. So I just think the Rams somehow got better again. So I'm all in on the Rams this year as long as Stafford stays healthy. Otherwise, I'd probably replace them with my next pick, and that is going to be the Vikings. And you can call me a homer. I don't really care. I am. Because I'm from Minnesota. They're my team. But again, their roster's just, there's not many holes in it. I guess you could say like the corners aren't the best. And J.J. McCarthy's unproven. But I mean, when Kevin O'Connell can put up like 200 some yards a game with Nick Mullins, I think J.J. McCarthy will be fine. So I think the Vikings are going to be in the playoffs. I think Kevin O'Connell gets his first playoff win. I don't know if they go necessarily further than that, but if that's what happens this year, I consider this season a win with the Vikings. And they keep Brian Flores, an amazing, probably the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, except for maybe Steve Spagnuolo, which that's who I'm going to put next to them. So I just think that they're in a very good spot. And then the Chiefs, they've got Patrick Mahomes. They've got, as according to some people, apparently the refs on their side. I don't know if I necessarily believe all that, but they're always going to be in contention as long as Patrick Mahomes is there and Andy Reid is there and Steve Spagnuolo is there. They're just a great team. They're kind of a no-brainer. And then I'm going to put... I'm kind of going along with this as I go, so bear with me here a little bit. But I think with the new Micah Parsons trade, I'm going to put the Packers up here. Ahead of the Lions. I'll maybe put the Lions here, depending on how deep this goes. But I think Jordan Love kind of... I'm trying to think of like the word. I can't think of the word. But like he's kind of had some inconsistencies, kind of had some turnover trouble. And I think he kind of maybe breaks away from that a little bit and stays a little bit more consistent, takes better care of the ball, doesn't quite throw as many interceptions. And I think he plays a little bit better and maybe doesn't have to throw quite as much because their defense just got better. Cornerback room is still kind of scary. Especially with they have a wide receiver running as cornerback, which kind of worries me with this team, but I truly think that they're going to be good. They got their first receiver in the draft in like over 20 years. It pains me to say this, but I think they'll be pretty good. I know some people have them all the way up here. I would maybe even put them down here. I'm trying to not be biased, but I would maybe put them down here and maybe switch the Lions out. So if that's your preference, I completely get that. But I'm going to put them there for now. And then my next pick, I think I'm going to go with the Broncos, just because I think they have the best defense in the league. Just an insane secondary. It's going to be really hard for any team to pass on them and run on them. They're just a very, very good offense, or a very good defense. And their offense, again, only got better. Great O-line. They drafted a really good running back. They've got more receivers now. They've got a really good tight end in Evan Ingram. And Bo Nix is another year older. And Sean Payton's still their coach. As much as I hate him, I think they're going to be great, unfortunately. But so that's probably what I'll put up here for now. And then I'm going to start the next tier off with the Lions, who I could see you switching these two. In fact, I'll just throw them up here because why not? Because they're kind of this or that, and the other one would be down here or whatever. But just know that I think either could kind of go down here. But Jared Goff's there. Their O-line got a little bit worse. The coordinators scare me a little bit. That's kind of what it is with this. Their secondary with the Packers scares me, and their coordinators scare me. But other than that, their defense got way the hell better because they're healthy now. Aiden Hutchinson's back. I forget who else they had injured, but it was a lot of people. They were like the most injured team in the NFL. And all their starters should be back, I think. But except for their center, Frank Ragnow, which is definitely going to hurt them, but I think they're just going to be really good again. Maybe I think the Vikings will win the NFC North. That's probably a hot take, and that's maybe me being delusional. But I think we'll lose first round of the playoffs like always. But I think we can do good in the regular season. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we're at the top of the NFC North or if we're at the bottom because it's just so stacked and it's such a good division. So maybe it's just me being optimistic for the season. But anyway, these two teams, I think they deserve to be here. I think anybody thinks they're in contention. But again, just kind of their defense got better, but I get why you would feel either way on them. Next team, I'm going to put the Bengals here. And this, again, might be a hot take. Some people think they're going to be like down here because their defense is so incredibly bad, but I think their offense only got better. Their O-line is a big upgrade. Their O-line, Joe Burrow's O-line, his entire career has been bottom 5. They just added Dalton Reisner. Their O-line should be fully healthy going into the season. Amarius Mims is a year older. He should be really good. Their O-line got better. Joe Burrow's O-line should probably be like more towards mid than towards bad this year, which is a huge, huge, huge upgrade. Especially for somebody, the last time he had a good O-line, he won a national championship. So I would definitely watch out for Joe Burrow. His defense was also good then too, so don't knock that. But I do think his defense really only got better. Trey Hendrickson's back. Shamar Stewart's an upgrade from Sam Hubbard. They got rid of like some of the dead weight that was just eating cap. Like Jermaine Pratt was their leader in tackles, I think, but he also was just missing so many. He was not doing good. They got a new defensive coordinator who can hopefully develop the players, which was something that was just non-existent with the Bengals for so long. So I think they really only got better. I know the preseason was kind of scary, but I think they'll do fine. But that's why I think they'll be here. I think Joe Burrow's going to win the MVP this year. Lock in your bets, I guess. And I think Jamar Chase has a very real chance on repeating with the Triple Crown. So I think the Bengals are going to be a scary team. And their schedule is not very hard. So that's who I would put here. Then I got to look and see if there's anybody else who I want to put in here that I think is... Oh, yeah, Commanders. Commanders... I could put Commanders up here, too, but I guess I kind of left them out. I forgot about them, I guess. So, I could see you adding them up here or not. But their roster's kind of... The roster isn't quite as flashy as, like, say, the Lions or the Broncos or... Especially these guys up here. They've just got a lot of good players that aren't like they don't have like really an Aiden Hutchinson, I don't think. Unless except for like the older guys, like I think they got Bobby Wagner. But I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to have a sophomore slump. I think if anything his playoff success is not going to be the same, but the reason that like CJ Stroud supposedly had a sophomore slump, which I completely disagree with, he did not. But a lot of people think that just because his situation got worse. His O-line was bad. They only built around Jaden Daniels this year. I think his situation just got better. So, again, I think he's going to be great. I think the Commanders are going to be great, and they're in for a really fun year, which they definitely deserve for have been being in such a bad spot for a long time. So, I think they'll be good. I think I could easily see them being up here, but they are definitely a team that I would not want to run into in the playoffs. And then now we kind of get into the weeds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm trying to think. I think it's 14 teams get into the playoffs. What is it? It's 7 on each side. So 12. We got 2 more. Who are the 2 more teams I think get into the playoffs? I think Steelers go 9-8 and miss. I think Dolphins miss. Giants miss. Buccaneers or somebody will definitely make it. Somebody from that division will. Let me think quick. So we got NFC West, AFC West, NFC North, AFC North and NFC North, NFC West. I'm trying to think, what division am I missing? I feel like I'm completely missing a division. I guess this one. I'm trying to think, AFC. Because which team do I have a ton of people on? I mean, the Chargers. On a lot of these teams, I'd maybe put an above mid or mid. I want to put Cardinals or Buccaneers there, but they're going to make the playoffs. So this isn't necessarily my playoff bracket. It's just the teams that I think are the best. So I'm not going to think too much about it. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here for too long trying to think. But I guess my next team is going to be, I forgot who I was just going to say. Oh, yeah, the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to be good. Obviously, they got Justin Herbert. Their team, again, only got better, really. Rashawn Slater getting hurt definitely hurts them. But I don't think it's that insanely big of a deal. They still got Justin Herbert. He's great. They got their wide receiver room got better. Running back room got better. Defense did, I think, get a little bit worse because they lost Joey Bosa, but he didn't play a lot. But again, I think they'll be kind of similar to last year. I think Justin Herbert will put up better numbers. I think he's going to look really good on the stat sheet. So I think they're going to do great. So this is kind of going to be how I leave off this section. I'm going to leave them 4-4, I guess. I'd maybe do this just to make Packers fans upset, even though they're probably, after saying this, they're probably going to sweep us. But to keep it kind of symmetrical. So this is kind of the top 12. I can't do math. Yeah, that's 12. Yeah, it's 12. Good Lord, I'm stupid. But, okay, this is how I'm going to leave this one off. And then I'm going to start the next tier off with a team that I think a lot of people are kind of excited for this season, that I am also very excited for, and that's the Patriots. And then I think Drake May is going to be great this year. O-line's the only thing that scares me with this team. Stephon Diggs, I think he's going to be back to basically 100%. He's going to do very well. Kyle Williams, I think, will be a great wide receiver too. Hunter Henry, I think, will give good production. TreVeyon Henderson's an absolute monster, and he's going to do great. Their defense got better. So I'm all in on the Patriots to be... I could see them clinching a playoff spot. My next team is going to be the Chicago Bears. All in on Ben Johnson. All in on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is... this is kind of crazy to me. He's a very, I think, overhated player. Just because he was outshadowed by Jaden Daniels. But he threw for 3,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks as a rookie. As the most sacked player in the NFL. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how nuts that is. He played really well, and nobody really seems to talk about it. So I will give Caleb Williams a ton of credit there. He did great last season, and I feel like he's getting shit on for it. That's just me, though. But I think he is going to be very good this year. I think Ben Johnson's going to show the world why he was the number one overall pick. I think he's going to live up to his potential. I think he is better athletically than Jared Goff was, or is, and Ben Johnson got a lot out of Jared Goff, and I think Caleb Williams is going to be very good. I also, by the way, loved their draft. I thought Colston Loveland was the best tight end in the draft. He just moves like a receiver as a tight end, which isn't. I thought watching him play, I was like, how is this guy a tight end? He just looks like a really big receiver. But again, he's really good. And then I also thought Luther Burden was the best receiver in the draft. That's probably a hot take. But I'd seen a list somewhere where there was like SEC wide receivers and like that had hit a certain milestone. It was like him, Jamar Chase, and like some other like really good NFL players. I don't know what the list was about, but it was like hitting a certain amount of yards maybe or something. But I think Luther Burden's going to be great. So I'm super excited for the Bears this year. I think the NFC North is going to be nuts. Absolute bloodbath. And then who am I going to put? So, and then kind of in this next tier, let me think. I could see a couple teams. I think, I'm going to put the Falcons here. I thought Michael Penix Jr. played pretty good last year. I thought he was kind of what you need I think he could lead them to being better than the Bucs. I think the Bucs kind of maybe fall off a little bit. Their team's just getting older. They lost their left tackle. I think Baker Mayfield maybe doesn't throw for quite as many yards and touchdowns now that Liam Cohen's in Jacksonville. I think that the Falcons are a pretty scary team. They got Darnell Mooney, Drake London. I think they still have Ray McLeod. They got fantasy GOAT Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. They're a very scary offense. They've got a good O-line, and their defense I think only got better. I'm all in on the Falcons to win that division, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. And then let's see. This next one might be kind of a hot take too, but I'm going to put the Jaguars to win their division as well. And that's because of Liam Cohen and what he did with Baker Mayfield. Trevor Lawrence is just a better prospect than Baker Mayfield. He was supposed to be like the best quarterback since Andrew Luck to come out of the draft. And I think Liam Cohen gets the most out of that. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. is better than anybody that the Bucs have at receiver. Again, maybe a hot take. I don't think it should be. Brenton Strange, I think, will be very good. I just overall think that the Jaguars will be a pretty solid team. And then in this next tier, I could put a lot of teams, but I think I'm going to put San Francisco. I think their defense is just kind of what holds them back, just because they lost a lot of pieces, and their receivers are kind of missing a lot of good players. But I think they'll be solid. I could see them sneaking their way into the playoffs potentially, just because of how easy their schedule is. I just don't think they're all that scary right now. I'm going to put Texans here, and this is just entirely because of their O-line. If their O-line is just even a little bit better than what I think, they could shoot all the way up to they could shoot up to this spot. They could shoot up somewhere in here. Just because of how good CJ Stroud is, how good their receivers are, how amazing their defense is. I think they have the second or third best defense behind like the Broncos and maybe like Rams, Baltimore, or Eagles or something. Their defense is just phenomenal. Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, they got a great defense. And then in here, I'm probably also going to put the Steelers and then the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, again, I could see them winning out this division. I could see the Steelers potentially beating out the Bengals, depending on if their defense is a lot worse than I thought it would be. But they're going to go 9-8 and I think miss the playoffs. Buccaneers, I think their defense is just not that good, and I think their offense gets worse. Below mid, I'm gonna put Dallas here. Their defense is just gonna not be good. They're gonna throw the ball a lot. They're gonna be a great fantasy team for George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak, just because it's gonna be offense throwing all the time. Then let's see. Who should I put next? I'm gonna put the Cardinals here just because they're in purgatory. They're just gonna be not good for a while until they somehow figure something out. I don't even know what's wrong with this team. They barely exist at this point. And then AFC. I think I'm trying to think of who I think would be in here. I think I'll put the Titans in here. I don't like their defense is solid. Cam Ward I think will be good. They're just overall again like a very mediocre. Like they're just not good, but they're not terrible. And then same thing with the Raiders. Geno Smith I like a lot. Pete Carroll I like a good bit. I love Ash Jetty. He's going to be great. Don't know necessarily how much he elevates the floor of this offense just because of how they were the last in the league, running-wise and whatever. I don't see them being too terribly much better, but I think they'll be solid. And then here I'll put the Seahawks. I love Kenneth Walker. Him and JSN are like on that offense. They're like the Ferrari in a trailer park. Kenneth Walker, if he was on any other team, I think he could be a top 5 running back in the NFL. Maybe even better than that. He's so insanely talented. Shame that he hasn't been able to be healthy, and he's been running behind a terrible O-line. But again, I think he's going to be good. Carolina, I could also see being like a sneaky one to win this division out, just because I think Bryce Young is going to be great. I just don't see that defense being any good. Receiver core is incredibly mediocre. I think Tedero McMillan will be solid. I don't think he's like the best receiver in the draft or anything. He's kind of had a little bit of drop issues, but I mean, whatever. That's not like the biggest deal. Then I'm going to put Dolphins just because their defense is so bad. Their secondary is terrible. And their O-line's not very good. They're just kind of just a not great team. And then I'll probably put maybe the Colts. The Colts really are only missing a quarterback, in my opinion. I think if they've got really good, I really like their young receiver trio with like Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs. I think those guys could be really good if they actually got a solid quarterback. I really hope they get a good one in this draft. Like a Lenoris Sellers would be really, really exciting with that team. But I think they won't be good this year. I think with Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, they're not going to be very good. And then, like I said, Saints are going to be terrible. Giants, I don't think will be good just because their D-line will be great. Other than that, I just don't see much from them. Their offense, I think their offense is going to be very dead. I've said this in my one fantasy draft video that I think Malik Neighbors is pretty much just going to be tripled and their offense is just going to be gone. They're going to have him taken away, and then they're going to have nothing, is what I think is going to happen. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong in case I end up having to get him in fantasy football or something. But I just think they're not going to be good. Cleveland, again, don't think they're going to be good. Don't really have a quarterback. Nobody's really popped out to be truly special, and I think they'll end up taking a guy in the draft. But they're also kind of like the Colts, where I think a lot of their team surrounding is not bad, but they just need a quarterback. And then kind of same with the Jets also. Their offensive line actually kind of surprised me. I didn't realize quite how talented some of the guys were. And Garrett Wilson, they got Mason Taylor now, Breece Hall. Hopefully a lot of these guys, these 5 guys, can hopefully get a good quarterback or something. But anyway, this is kind of my predictions or whatever of how I think each team will do this year. But anyway, let me know what else you guys would like to see, any other NFL stuff, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.